It's really awesome to be here and be able to talk to all of you. And so as I was preparing for tonight, I was looking through the bios of the other speakers, and I was going, oh boy, these people have written books, they have journalism experience, they've even created companies around science communication. What qualifies me to be standing up here as a guest speaker? I feel like I'm just starting off my journey as a science communicator. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I realized, you know what? That's actually the point of science communication. You don't have to be a professional science communicator to communicate science. In fact, what is science communication? And quick search on the internet, Wikipedia has a really good answer, as it always does. It says science communication is the act of raising awareness about science, about scientific development, and I really like this part, increasing the sense of wonder about science. And this is really what we're trying to do in the end. We're trying to get everyone excited about science. We're trying to show people what science is doing and who is doing the science. Because believe me, it's a lot easier to trust in science if you know the people behind it. But getting into science communication doesn't have to be a big thing. In fact, who here, let's just show of hands, considers themselves a scientist? Nice. Okay, so we have a lot of scientists in the room. That's fantastic. So for those of you who just raised your hands, have you ever been in a scenario where, again, you're at a party, someone comes up to you and asks, so what do you do? It turns out I actually seem to have a lot of things in common with a lawyer or someone studying law, because usually the reaction is such, I'm a physicist. Okay. But not always. Sometimes that person goes a step further and says, oh, could you tell me a little bit more? And there you go. You started a conversation about science. You are doing science communication. And for those of you who didn't raise your hands, who don't claim to be a scientist, don't worry, you also have an incredibly important role. Because you're the one on the other side of that conversation. You're the one who gets to ask the question, can you tell me more? And please, next time you're at a party, do that. Because most of us scientists, we love talking about what we do. Sure, we might not love the daily grind, data collection, or answering that referee's report for what seems like the 100th time. But there's something, some spark, some piece of information that got us into science in the first place. And we love talking about that. But again, getting into science communication can be as simple as a conversation with a partner. For me, science communication started with teaching. I was teaching undergrad exercise courses, something that a lot of scientists can, experience at some point in their career. And I found out that these students are often a lot more interested in learning about what is actually going on in the lab. What are scientists actually doing right now than the stuff they're supposed to be learning. To be fair, it's usually more than 100 years old, so I don't blame them. And so something as simple as teaching or a conversation at a party can start your journey into science communication. And to be fair, it's not all parties, it's not all fun. We as scientists and science communicators also have a very important responsibility, because we have to communicate our science correctly. And this isn't easy. With all of the misinformation out there nowadays, this is an incredibly important thing that we have to do. But you might be thinking, come on, with all of the details, all of the little points that you have to understand to know why we use fruit flies, for example, for research. There's no way I can explain this. Well, perhaps that's true. But recently I was at a conference and I summarized it very nicely and said, be correct, but not complete. Don't worry about all those details. That can come later if they're interested. But make sure that those key points that you're trying to communicate, that at least those are correct. Because this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to communicate the science and get it across to other people, to get them excited, and to increase that sense of wonder about science in the world. Thank you.